In case you missed it, here's the D.O.G.E report for today. So where is our money actually being spent? Well, they found that $3 million is being used to study steroid-enhanced hamster fighting. I think you could just go to like a bar at night, watch a couple dudes get into it, and know what steroids will do for a fight, okay? $2.3 million has been used for studying cocaine effects on beagles. Why don't you just spend about $1,500, get yourself a Coachella ticket, get a lawn chair, sit back, watch. You'll understand what cocaine does to anyone. Coachella, just go there. $600,000 in parrot romance. That's important. It's definitely really important, actually. We'll keep that. $500,000 in racial aggression in mice. I'm sorry, do mice give a shit? They just want your food. They don't care if you're black, you're white, you're Asian. They don't care. They just probably want to get your food and your crumbs and in your house and on the streets and gross, okay? 1.1 million training mice to binge drink. Just go to UGA, pick a sorority house, pick a fraternity house, watch them on the weekends. They'll binge drink, study the effects after that. Free. Just again, lawn chair. See, I think we should just promote buying a couple of lawn chairs and go to a couple of these events. You'll get all the studies you need and willing participants. 2.1 million encouraging Ethiopians to wear shoes. That's effective for Americans, thank God. That's where our money is going. We know we can't buy groceries, but let's make sure those Ethiopians wear their shoes. I can't even get my kid to put their shoes on. Okay, can we maybe put a little money in that? Or sometimes I'm like, where's the other shoe? Why do you only have one? What happened to the second one? Okay. 187,000 verifying that kids love their pets. Unless you're raising Jeffrey Dahmer, your kids like their pets. It's just natural. Most people like pets more than like humans. I know, I do. 2.7 million studying Russian cats on treadmills. Why don't we take 2.7 million and try to encourage more Americans to use treadmills? Finally, 875,000 studying cocaine effects on quail mating. Again, lawn chair, sorority fraternity house, a good party. Watch what happens when cocaine enters the room. So in case you missed it, that is where your hard-earned dollars are going this week in the D.O.G.E report.
$20 million for fiscal federalism in Nepal. Listen to these numbers. This is all fraud. $19 million for biodiversity conservation in Nepal. $1.5 million for voter confidence. We want to give them confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $2.5 million for inclusive democracies in South Africa. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well. They're doing a lot better than we do in the schools, aren't they? $2 million to develop sustainable recycling models to increase socioeconomic cohesion among marginalized communities in Kosovo and Eshkali and in Egypt. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. I could, by the way, I could read this all day long. I could go on all day long, and you'll see hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're doing it. But when I saw the Social Security numbers, I said, wow, that's really something. So we have, let's just go above 100 years old. We have millions and millions of people over 100 years old. Everybody knows that's not so. We have a very corrupt country, and it's a sad thing to say, but we're figuring it out now.
When we speak, and we spoke with the President Biden, and we spoke with the President Trump, and especially now with the President Trump, I asked, so okay, if it's not NATO for today, if it's not NATO, we will ask tomorrow. It doesn't matter.
Right. So here's what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to find a way to end this war in a fashion that Putin would be a fool to do it again. Very quickly. How do you deter Putin? You arm this guy to the teeth. Yeah, you give him a bunch of F-16s, not a few F-16s. You give them ATACMS, you give them tanks, because they will fight. Remind me not to invade Ukraine, okay? Just...
Hey guys, Carlos Cortez here with another episode of Scriptures and Wall Street.
Hey,
thanks for tuning in. If you haven't had a chance yet, what's holding you back? Go to Rumble, go to our baby channel. We started this from zero and we're just building. Go to Rumble, check us out there. I'll be going live on the weekends, live at nights, hockey nights, dinners, and all the fun stuff that I get to do. And in addition to all the content that I produce, go to Scriptures and Wallstreet on Rumble right now. You can pause this video, come back, screenshot it, do what you got to do. But yes, we need you over there, guys. We want to get this monetized so we can continue preaching our message. And it's really that simple. It doesn't cost you a daggone thing. And if you could do that, that would be great. I'd really appreciate you following us. Like and subscribe on our Rumble channel. Also, you can like and subscribe on our X channel as well. But also, let me say my disclosure here for everybody that is listening to this. This is not, everything on this podcast is not investment advice. Everything on this podcast should be used for information, education purposes only. Now, with that being said, holy smokes, I saw on Telegram that the Social Security Administration is actually paying dead people, and they've been doing this for a long time. So, Elon Musk actually had a Twitter or X post, whatever you want to call it. He goes, bro, if I wanted to rummage through the random personal shiznick, I could have done that at PayPal. Hello. Having tens of millions of people marked in SSI as alive when they're definitely dead is a huge problem. Obviously, some of these people would have been alive before America even existed as a country. Think about that for a second. So we have 0 to 9 people. What? 38. Wow. That is crazy. 38 million people. 10 to 19, 44 million. 20 to 29, 47, close to 50 million. Another 50 million, 30, 39. Obviously, this probably would include, disability, Social Security disability, which you can really get at any age. But as we go into the 100 plus, over 4.5 million, 110, 119. Maybe these people are alive. I don't know. 3.6 million, 120, 29. That's crazy. I'm sure this age bracket, 95%, if not 100% of these people are dead. 134 million, 140 to 150. 3.5 million, 150 to 159, 1.3. I mean, this is nuts, guys. People that are 220 years old, 1,000, 300 years, one person. This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts if this is true. I don't know if this is true, but this is what he posted. So, speaking of what is true, we honestly don't even know it's true anymore. We don't know if the reports from the PPI reports that just came last week, we don't know if those inflation numbers are true. We don't know if all of these reports, what even the Fed spew, is even true. We can only beg the question that how accurate is it? We can't even actually articulate what is a woman these days from a media and government standpoint. We don't even know what a recession is. A recession, the definition of a recession is actually 2 negative quarters of GDP. So I got to basically hand back my business degree at Southeastern University and say, you know what? You guys taught me wrong. Teach me again, because we don't even know what a recession is. So therefore, my bachelor's degree ordained by the U.S. Department of Education is a scam. Like what I've been taught has been all lies, even in college. What about the medical field? What about the financial field? What about the legal system? I mean, we have a whole generation that believes in the straw man. Like, you could walk away. And you know what? They're right. People are waking up. People are waking up to what is true. The news media is down. People don't want to watch the news. They rather watch independent media because it's not configured in a way where it's going to benefit the shareholders that are there to honestly just scam us, feed us lies and garbage. You know, when there's something called atmospherics. In business school, they taught us this, atmospherics. And if you don't know what atmospherics is, it is actually pretty powerful. It's very powerful because atmospherics literally is used everywhere you go, everywhere, from the office of your attorney or your advisor or your doctor to the stores that you frequent, whether it's Target, Walmart, the malls, to casinos, to banks. Atmospherics literally change everything. So I'll give you an example. When you roll up into your grocery store, is your parking lot, is it slanted or is it straight? You see, the science has proven that when you go into a grocery store and you have to park in a straight line, it is more cumbersome. So because it's more cumbersome, you can't stand going to the grocery store. Why you have slanted parking lots, they're more welcoming, they're easier to park. And so it creates a better environment that you're in a better mood. And there's less shopping carts running rampant because there's entitled people, right? There's entitled people that don't want to put their shopping carts. You want to see a character of a person? Go shopping with them. You'll see how they shop. You'll see how frugal they are. And more importantly, if they put their shopping cart back. The people that don't put the shopping cart back are some of the worst people out there. Entitled. I mean, I just say it like that, right? Put the shopping cart back because somebody else has to pick up your garbage, has to pick up your stuff. Put the shopping cart back. My kids, they fight to put the shopping cart back. Seriously. Wanted to say that atmospherics is very powerful. So when you go, I used to be a big gambler. I used to love blackjack. But in that, when you go into casinos or any casino hotel in Vegas, you'll notice that the carpets are like infinite. So if you look at the carpet of a casino, the design is continuing pattern. It's a continuous pattern. And it feels like it just flows and flows and flows and never ends. Whereas some places you have these blocks and you can see that the blocks get smaller or they move somewhere or they transition to another, flooring pattern. So mentally, hey, that's where it ends. That's where that room ends. Also, there's no clocks. There's no clocks in a casino. And they pump lavender and vanilla. These are smells that open up relaxation, that make you feel more chill and relaxed and euphoric. So this is atmospherics at its finest. My question to you is, what are you doing in your home to create atmospherics? Is it God first? Is it you first? Is it family first? Is it idol first? I mean, do you have Buddha in the center of your home? Do you have, I don't know, naked women or pornographic items in your home? Like, what are your atmospherics? What are the atmospherics with your advisor? What are the atmospherics in your portfolio? What is the atmospherics with your kids' sports? What is atmospherics with your wife? And so what is interesting is I had a conversation today with a great client. And I basically prefaced the conversation of our political beliefs and our spiritual beliefs. They can haunt us. And the left, they laugh at us all the time. The hedge fund managers, they laugh at us. Wall Street does not care about your Christian and religious and spiritual beliefs. They actually mock you. They know that they think that gold is going to be the safest thing, but gold is a part of red money. And so when you have hedge fund managers that are Democrats, by the way, because they do exist, and they want to annihilate the whole demographic of the conservative population, knowing that half of us own gold. And if you're a client of mine, you probably own a little bit of gold, but we're a lot smarter than that. And what Wall Street will do is they have these psychological levels, they're called psych levels, where they'll trade against these support and resistance levels, knowing that this demographic has this amount of money in gold. And they'll short it, they'll pump it, they'll dump it, they will manipulate it, and you get hurt. And so they're able to pigeonhole you into submission that you sell out. And they're getting the gold, they're getting that price at a certain price point, rebuying it while you lost everything. This is how banks work. This is how the market works. This is how, when you invest with your beliefs, you are subject to being manipulated. I'm sorry, not your beliefs, your emotions. We want to invest in things that we believe in. Value-based investing is what the mainstream media wants us to call it. And so we here at Cortez Wealth, we want to promote avenues. We want to be a resource for people that don't know what to do. Maybe you're fearful. Maybe you're uncertain. Maybe you're doubtful. You're fearful because you don't know anyone you can call. You're uncertain because there is no plan in place. And you're doubtful because you don't have a person with a plan to even talk to. So this is what we want to do. This is what we want to have, a very holistic approach to your retirement to give you an environment, an atmospheric that you can actually succeed in. Maybe when you pull up, the parking lot's not straight, but it's nice and curved, so you can turn right into it and you can pull right out. Little things like that. Well, maybe you can set it, forget it, and enjoy your life, enjoy your work life, enjoy your family life, enjoy your grandchildren's soccer game or hockey games or volleyball games. Minister to the church, donate to the church, travel with the church wherever you want to, because you've been a great steward. You created a plan that doesn't fund the LGBT agenda, that doesn't fund hate, that doesn't fund things that go against your beliefs, but is actually tactically smart so that you can grow your investments no matter what the volatility index does, no matter what the market does. Because we have things in place, systems in place that are tactically managed in a green money bucket as well as a yellow money bucket. Depending on your needs and necessities, we can generate an income that will grow while you're pulling it out. Lower your fees, lower your risk, give you a substantial pay raise, because we're simply reducing the fees and risk. And I don't know what other four-letter word you want us to reduce, but yes, this is what we can do. We can transform portfolios. Now, the biggest problem is getting people to actually call. All you got to do is just call. You can call us 813-448-3446 or visit us at CortezWM.com. I've said it for the past year. I wrote this book. I only wrote it. I spent, 10 grand on this book, writing it, time, effort, and I'm not even charging for it yet. I only have a few hundred left. 100 left. But I'm sending this to everybody that has a call with us. This is my gift to you. We're going to talk about putting America first, but putting God back into your portfolio, and also promoting the things that you believe in, and not funding China and not funding all the foreign entities, and actually having a fiduciary that believes in what you believe in. I mean, we get calls and podcasts. Well, Carlos, what do you offer? How are you different? And I'm like, just watch our podcast and you'll see how different I am. Ask your current advisor, what'd you do in 2008? Are you vaccinated? Do you believe in Christ Jesus as your Lord? Is he your savior? Who is your God? Like, why don't you ask your advisor, your current advisor, those questions and get back with us? And more importantly, if you want to quantify it, go to what we did in 2008. I'll show you. What is my standard deviation? Do you want me to look at your portfolio and tell you the good, bad, and ugly? I mean, we've moved $250 million inside of 28 months. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. How are we different? Well, we have a podcast and we're not afraid to stand for what we believe in. And actually, that is my scripture. I'll say it in Joshua 1:9 later on. We are not afraid to promote what we believe in. Simply put, I could care less about someone's feelings when it comes to our message. So, but one thing I will say, Because we're not going to honor hate. We're not going to promote hate. I don't care if you're Asian, Black, Spanish, Jewish. Jesus died for you, man. Jesus died for you. When he got wept and practically killed, spat on, peed on, urinated on, dethroned, spiked, and his cranium was crushed with thorns. His last words said, "Forgive them, Father, for they not know what they do." That's how we're different. We believe in those messages. Now, I know I'm on different networks. I know there's people that believe that some people are just evil. And I'm not promoting evil. We're supposed to hate evil. We're supposed to hate the sin. I get that. But I'm not going to promote hate to any racial or any ethnicity. That's not my space, man. That's not my space. I choose love. I choose the cross. Doesn't mean we got to be a wussy. Doesn't mean we got to be queer about it. Believe me, I'll fight anybody. I'm not afraid to fight anybody. I'm not afraid to show my masculinity. And believe me, I could rage very, very much. But here, we're not going to hate the Jews. We're not going to hate the Romans because they killed Jesus. They crucified him, or they tried to kill him. We're not going to do that here. And I may get a lot of pushback for that. But it doesn't align with the cross. It doesn't align with what God says on the cross, what Jesus said on the cross. Anyways, I wanted to basically talk about this Elon Musk post because Social Security, they're paying out to all of these fake dead people at your expense. They're paying out all these people, and we're wondering why we're in a deficit. So Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE, they're going into all of these things. Like, we're paying millions of dollars for hamsters. We're paying millions of dollars to Ethiopia to see if they like shoes. We're paying $800,000 to parrots kissing and studying the behaviorals. We're paying all this stupid money that we could be giving away to single families, to lost widows of police officers or veterans. Like, there's so much use we could use for that money. Maybe we can just like spend that money to my home state, North Carolina, and help these victims of a HARP-based hurricane. Like, what about that? Like, why don't we give back to the Americans that have actually paid into Social Security, that have done things for humanity? So with this DOGE deal, what really hit home is that all these people are getting paid on Social Security. And many of you that call us have questions on Social Security. So I wanted just to kind of like focus today's topic on Social Security because most of you that listen to us have a question of when should I take Social Security? And for those, let's see here. For those of you that don't know, there is something called an earnings test. And I have to talk about this maybe once or twice a year so that you get it. If you're 60 or 65 and you're going into Social Security, these are some basic things that you will need to know to go into Social Security. And maybe if you're 70, it's still good to know. So with that being said, in 2025, the Social Security Administration earnings test is $23,400 for those under FRA and $62,160 for those who reach full retirement age, also known as FRA. Now, what does that FRA mean? Well, it's based on your birth date. You can go to ssa.gov and find out the calendar. And for some of you, it might be 66 in 3 months, 66 in 6 months, or 67 if you're born after 1948. I'm sorry, 1958, I believe the cutoff is. And so here's the deal. The 23,400, you could take Social Security at 62, 63, 64. You could take it early before full retirement age, whatever that age is. Most of you, it's going to be 66 or 67. Whatever that age is, keep in mind, Social Security is considered a welfare program, by the way. But when you take money from your IRAs and your 401ks, that is count as ordinary income. So the 23,400, yes, you could work and collect, but you are going to pay dearly. You're going to pay dearly because any amounts of 23,400 will be considered a 50% penalty. So every $2 you make over 23,400, $1 has to go back. Now, this hurdle will happen all the way till your full retirement age. Once you turn full retirement age and you're currently working, that earnings test doesn't go away, but it gets bumped up to $62,120 for the year of 2025. It typically has gone up year by year, not much. I'm talking about maybe $100, $200. Most I've seen it $800, but nothing really big. So one thing you have to understand for those of you that have IRAs, you got $500,000 in IRAs and you take Social Security and you're making 5% on your IRA, which is normal, right? And you're pulling $35,000 out of your IRA. Well, $35,000, the earnings test, $24,600. So 35,000 minus 24,600 is 10,400. You would have to pay a penalty of $5,200 in that example, plus the income taxation. So be careful when you're taking Social Security out that you understand your IRAs, your 401ks, everything but a Roth IRA. So your simples, your 403Bs, your 457s, your traditional IRAs, your simple IRAs, your SEP IRAs are all considered ordinary income. Even your non-qualified annuities are considered ordinary income that goes against your earnings test. So if you're making $23,400 and working or on Social Security, that is considered working capital, your distributions. I want to make that clear. The money pulled out of your IRAs and 401ks and all your qualified retirement accounts is considered ordinary income while you're taking Social Security. So that's the key thing. When you decide to trigger Social Security, this is when you say, you know what, government, I want to be on welfare. And what does welfare do? They put you on income constraints. So when you have income constraints, when you're on welfare, they give you income constraints and caps. So just be careful, guys. Like, you can play this game. You want to work and collect, you sure can, but be careful where you pull your money out. The only way you can get tax-free income is inside of a Roth IRA and a cash value life policy. We set these up. Some people call it infinite banking. Some people say a tax-free bucket. We just call it a green money tax-free bucket. You can pull money out and you'll never have to pay taxes on it. We don't have to mess with our citizenship. There's legal ways. There's better ways to actually reduce your taxes. Now, if you got millions and millions of dollars in IRAs, then give us a call. We have a IRA conversion strategy where we use the death benefit to pay the taxation on this conversion. It takes about 5 to 6 years, sometimes 7 years, but we fully could walk away from all the taxation of this bomb, of this massive scam the government has hooked us up with. So when you set up your 401k and your IRAs 20, 30 years ago, and you said, you know what, I want to get this match. I want to get this awesome match. They didn't tell you about these rules. Or here, they didn't tell you about these rules. They didn't say, hey, when you put money away, we're going to tax you at unknown tax rates. It's insane, man. And this is why they keep on sending money to Ukraine and Israel and all these crazy countries, because people don't know this stuff. People don't know that their 401ks or IRAs, they really don't even own it. You are a participant for a reason, because they can tax you to hell and back. And even when you take your Social Security, that's when the inoculation happens. They own you. They say, all right, you take Social Security, great. That's exactly what we want you to be at. We want you to have these speed bumps and stop signs in your portfolio, in your lifestyle, so we can what? Track, trace, and control you. This is just a simple way of track, trace, and control you. It's very, very powerful. So the tax-free conversion strategy is huge. We've done this for years now. And if you have over $250,000 in an IRA, then give us a call. We can show you, preferably $500,000. If you have $500,000 in an IRA, you may have a tax burden for you and your family. And the other crazy part is that when you pass away, even if you don't do this conversion, your family is going to have to do it eventually at unknown tax rates. And right now, if Trump, look, some of you could say, you know what, I'm not going to pay taxes because Trump's going to knock them out. We're going to have the ERS. The IRS is going to be abolished. And I know the IRS is illegal. I've read the book, Jekyll and Hyde. I totally get that. But do you really want it? Do you really, really want to put your eggs in a speculative basket when it comes to retirement? The most important thing, if you do have an IRA, is to protect it. And you can go to greenmoneysolutions.com. We have a plethora of options right now, and we can get you some great returns on the past. I mean, just look, I can't say past performance is indicative of future results, but I can say we can use it as a guide. This is historically what it's done, and the returns are just impeccable. So speaking of which, I'll just pull that up real quick. A 2.3 and 1% year to date. If you haven't received these returns at all in the past 20 something years, what are you doing? Give us a call. We can legit get 100% of this index with no fees. So the major thing about your IRA is you have to protect it, because if you lose money in your IRA, you can't write it off. You just cannot write it off. Now, past performance is not indicative of future results, guys. You guys understand that? But when Trump got in 2016, we didn't have the AI where it is right now. So if we looked at 2016, we made it 8%. The following year, a 40.5%. The war on tariff in 2018, it was negative 5%, but we got a 0. The following year, a 35, a 28, a 25. Each year that is negative, the following sequential years have been blown up, like a 35%, a 28, a 25.5%. So you want to get in. You want to get in this index. It has ability to go to commodities, to treasuries, to S&P, to NASDAQ. Now, if you simply just want the NASDAQ, we have a green money account just for that as well. And we can make 100%, depending on your state, 130% of the NASDAQ with no fees and no risk. And your money should double within 4 to 6 years on both style accounts, because there's no fees and there's no risk. And many of you have fees and risk and high standard deviations in your plain Jane mutual funds. So this is cookie cutter advice, is what most people have that have mutual funds, and they tell you to trade. You know, we're gonna buy mutual funds based on the money manager's perspective. Like if I pulled up a prospectus right now on one of my favorite funds is the Franklin Income Fund. I've had that fund forever, and it's been out since 1948. I'm not here to do an advertisement for them, but I love Charles Johnson. At one point, he was a long-term money manager for the Franklin Income Fund. They never missed a dividend, and that fund has been out since 1948. Like almost 90 years of never missing a dividend, paid out monthly. It's powerful. But even them, at one point, their prospectus read that 80% of the portfolio has to be vested. So imagine 2008, 2001 rolled out, and all your money has to be invested in the market, whether it's the bond market or stock market. It has the ability to flex between both equity and fixed income. They have to stay vested. Whereas us, in our tactical money managers, we're just going to go to cash, treasuries, and we're going to base everything off of your risk tolerance. And we're going to have these systems in place where if the market is down 10%, we're out at -7. If the market is down at 30%, we're out at -7. We have these seatbelts. We have guns. Sometimes we don't want to use our guns. We hope we never have to use them. We hope we never have to use our seatbelt, but they're there in case of what? In case we get hurt. Well, we have these safety protocols in our portfolios with yellow money. If you want liquidity, if you want managed money in the markets, we know a smart way to do it. But if you simply just want to securitize, privatize, safely have your account grow with compounding interest year by year, then we can do that with green money. You can go to greenmoneysolutions.com and see our portfolios there of that, our risk offerings, our no risk offerings, and honestly get access to these returns. It's really that simple. It doesn't matter where you're at. We can do like to like transfer. So if it's money in your bank that you want to securitize, privatize, and anti-CBDC it, we can do it, grow it with the index. It should double within 4 to 6 years if you never touch it. Mathematically speaking, based on the historical values, of course, past performance is not indicative of future results. However, you got to have this money growing for you. Don't leave your money in the bank where, God forbid, there's a financial crisis. The money in the bank is gone. It legit is gone. You don't own the money in your bank. Look, I have a woke bank too because I'm a financial securities licensed professional, and I'm viewed as a threat to the bank. So I'm limited on where I can open up a business account. And the disclosures that you have to read on a private adoption agreement or opening a checking account, it legit reads, go open a bank account like online right now. I think I did a podcast this like a year ago on Truist. I opened up an account, a dummy account just for you guys on podcast, and it read withdrawal limitations. It read forfeiture of assets. It read everything in that privacy notice statement. Actually, as a matter of fact, you should call your bank right now. If you are bored, call your bank right now and say, hey, can I get the privacy statement, account agreement of my checking account? And actually read it. They may have a table of contents or a directory, and you can read where it says large cash withdrawals. And in that section, it will show you that although you have access to your funds, it is limited to the bank, and the bank redeems a right to refuse any large cash withdrawals. That basically you must set an appointment because they don't know if they have it in reserves, and it's based on the liquidity of the financial status of that bank. So when you deposit your money in a bank account, you relinquish your funds into that account. And you're saying that company is strong enough to give me my money back. Well, what happens when shutdowns happen, when COVID happens, and another scandemic happens? You can't access your bank. Businesses cannot turn over payroll. They cannot literally pay payroll. And so they're pulling money out of their checking accounts because they got to take care of their own. And there's no money going in. I mean, it is complete Armageddon. So why have your retirement associated with a liquidity crisis that eventually would happen? There were more banks closures in 2023 than in 2008. People don't realize that. And with this mortgage crisis happening right now, the commercial mortgage crisis happening right now, these banks are not wanting to lend money out to businesses. They do not want to lend money to commercial mortgages anymore. It's bad at the high interest rates, and businesses are failing because the liquidity is not there. Even though they're saying the economy is booming, just look at the commercial real estate crisis. We've had $700 million that are basically set up for default in the next. It was 350 last year, 280 million this year, and another 250 million in 2026. We don't have an answer for that. So what are the banks going to do? They're going to have to eat it. And when they do eat it and they don't have the money, they have the right now to do a bank bail-in. There's no more bank bail-outs. So bank bail-ins basically means that they can stick their hands in your bank account, take your money, and pay you back when they want to. So we have Doge that is finding out all the freaking scams that Social Security has been doing. We have the bank crisis looming. We have commercial that's fueled by commercial real estate problems. Not even to mention the wars and what Trump is doing. Not even to mention the inflation problem, which poses a huge threat to deflation. I explained what deflation is, right? Past few podcasts, and that is a huge risk right now. And Jerome Powell saying, we're not going to lower interest rates, and TMF and TLT, all these trades, are they going to hit or not? Well, we'll talk about that here in a second. I'm pull up charts. But let's have some common sense here. All of this noise doesn't matter if your retirement is not secure. Like 2 Timothy 1:7 says, for I have not given you the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and sound mind. How in the heck can we have love, power, and sound mind when our money is all over the place and in red money? So I wanted to take a quick view on something I said last podcast, and people looked at me like I was crazy. And you know what? Maybe I am, but here we are. For those of you that are Bitcoin fans, I told you that Bitcoin would go down. Even told Stu that. And guess what we got? We got a death cross, baby. Death cross on Bitcoin, all red. And so, because Bitcoin is short-term going down, now this isn't a long-term. This is part of just a trade. This is SBIT. So this is going up. I said you could buy $11 calls around $9.75, $10. And guess what happened? It hit 11.10 today, 11.08. And I really think this is going to pop because Bitcoin should have a massive drawdown. Now, those calls expire on the 21st, which is Friday. So from now to Friday, if it goes past $11, even more, it could go up to 13, then it really, really will take off. Bitcoin will probably go below 90,000, which is a 10% correction. And then it'll scoot back up. But for those of you that like to trade short-term trades and swing trades, I like this trade going into this week. Again, this is not investment advice. This is something for education purposes only. But I did buy the $11 calls the $11 calls, the February close expirations on the 21st. It is a very risky trade. But if you had a few $100 or a few $1,000 you can afford to lose, take the trade. Have fun with it. I really like it. It could be a 4-to-1 situation where you put $1,000 and it's worth 4,000. However, this is a very risky trade. This is not meant for retirement money. This is not meant for anyone that can't afford to lose. But yeah, this is just very good information and education purposes only, as Bitcoin does go down short term, maybe 90, maybe 80, maybe 70, who knows? But we have till Friday, and I'll podcast it over the weekend if I lost or if I made it, and I'll share my results. So pretty cool trade for those of you that are interested. Also, I want to just take an overall look at the NASDAQ. The QQQs is awesome. We got a buy signal January, and this thing has been cooking up. It's been mooning. What's even powerful is I can get this 100% with no fees, and all the gains that you make in this contract or in this account could be systemized and privatized inside of an insurance contract so that your money could double within 4 to 6 years. So this is actually going up. We have this in most states. You just got to give us a call to see if it's suitable for you, 813-448-3446, or visit us at CortezWM.com. You can also download a free guide at AmericaFirstRetirementPlan.com. And I am going to take a commercial break. I'll see you here after this commercial. You probably clicked this link because you don't trust the stock market. You know that it's manipulated. You know it's rigged for the big banks. You know that you can be financially inoculated with everything that's going on. And the reason why you're here is because you might have some FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Fearful because you don't know what's going on. Uncertainty because there's no one to talk to. And doubtful because there's no plan on what is about to come. But one thing, when it comes to retirement planning, if you don't have a game plan for whatever it is about to come, then you are not prepared. It's time for you to protect your money outside of buying gold and silver. This is going to be the best thing because you're protected by contract law. Completely different animal, guys. Again, Carlos Cortez here. Hope I can hear from you. And let's just have a conversation to see if this strategy works for you. So another ETF or position that I've been looking at is TMF for a long time. Eventually, this has got to pop. Interest rates are going to lower. It is starting to come back up, guys, from 38 to 41. And look for this. This might take all year, but when it does, it will. And so when we have an event of interest rates changing, it is at an all-time low and it's coming off its all-time low, but I really see a lot of momentum coming here. And so when we have this momentum, this short-term, mid-term, and long-term, we'll have the ability to profit from this. So this is TMF. Now, this is three times TLT, which is a 20-year treasury. For those of you that are looking for a good 6 to 24 month trade that you don't mind leaving a few bucks in here and not touching it, TMF might be suitable for you. Again, it's not investment advice, but something that you could use for education and information purposes only. The other thing I wanted to check real quick, I want to see Tesla. Yeah, a lot of investors are upset with Elon because he's hurting people's feelings. And so the stock has been going down substantially, actually, about 10%, actually about 13%. So it's coming back up, and we do see a huge opportunity to sell. For those of you that like Tesla, you could look at TSLL, and TSLL is 2 times Tesla. It's the same chart, but is double the risk. And so as this sells off, you'll see that this is twice the volatility. Speaking of volatility, we also want to check our friend VIXI, which is actual VIX. This is a volatility index. This did pop up to 20 the other day, and it is going down. So as a market goes up, volatility goes down. And right now we are at 1535 right now. It's on my box here, on this red box here. But everything looks normal. We got a golden cross here, by the way, in February 11th. Now, what that basically means, guys, is that the volatility index will go up. There will be volatility. Fear and greed is what this index is called. But you can't buy the VIX. You got to go to VIXI. And there's no golden cross on VIXI. It has been going down the past month. But as you guys know, you buy low and sell what? And once it hits all-time low, these create massive buying opportunities. Again, past performance is not indicative of future results, and I'm not giving investment advice here, but this is something you may want to have a close eye on, where you can buy this as an ETF. You can hold it as ETF. You can buy the call option. Maybe you buy the 40, the 45 calls, the 46 calls, and just hold them for a year. And if stock market fails, if anything crashes, you make a lot of money. Make a lot of money. I'm just saying, this thing has shot up to over 500 historically. Actually, in the thousands. I mean, I could pull this up. This thing is, this thing is insane. So if we scrunch this back, I mean, look at this thing. You think Bitcoin was high? This thing was over 4,000. So you're buying it at 41. Could we see those levels again? I don't know. That was during 2020. We would have to have a 2020 event to have that. It could. It totally could, guys. But this is something that I would throw long term, guys, and kiss it goodbye. And if it hits, great. But it's meant for money that you're not going to touch for years. If you could buy the option, or if not, then hedge your portfolio with the ETF. Just buy the ETF and you actually own the ETF. And if it goes high, great. If not, then it's just a hedge. For those of you that are holding mutual funds and 401ks and you can't securitize, you can't buy anything, then buy this on the side. Again, not investment advice. It's just a great educational piece to hedge your account. Simple as that. So I just want to let you know that there are different options out there. Hey, let me talk real quick about one of my favorite products right now. Get Me Lean USA. I've lost a ton of weight, if you guys know. I'm getting strength back in my shoulder. For those of you that called, appreciate it. Thank you for caring and giving me ideas. I even had someone send me shoulder muscle cream, CBD muscle cream for my shoulder. Stuff is amazing. So thank you for that. And thank you for your prayers on my daughter. We have enrolled her in a brain balance program to do neurological exercises. We're not into drugs. We're not into this woke stuff and big pharma. We're not into that. We're actually into just exercising her brain so that her neurological development could just be growing. She could be I don't want to say a normal kid, because God made her in her image, just like he made all of us in his image. There's nothing wrong with her. It's just her left brain is not speaking to her right brain and is causing a strain in her social and emotional life. So if you don't mind, continue to pray for my beautiful daughter, Rachel. She had a competition in Orlando. We had a great time. They took third place. And it's such a blessing watching my girls skate. But yeah, I appreciate the prayers and all the emails from that, and that really touched me. So thank you so much for everyone that has reached out on that. Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord God will be with you wherever you go. It's funny because it's not funny, but Joshua was to Moses, his assistant and successor, obviously. God tells Joshua to be strong and courageous so that he will not be afraid and discouraged. And I don't know who needs to hear that, but if it's that business opportunity, if it's that intimacy with your wife, if it's that new relationship, if it's that scary jump from one job to another, if it's that new transition to a new church, whatever it is, be bold and courageous, because the Lord God is with you. And that is amazing. So I don't know what that means to you. That really spoke to me this morning. Also, let me talk about one of my favorite products, just so you know. Get Me Lean USA is a great plant-based peptide. If you're not into big pharma, for those of people that are taking Ozempic, this will be a great alternative because this doesn't eat your muscle. You can lose weight and gain actual muscle. The products are very affordable, in my opinion. And you can just save 10% just on being an auto ship. So Get Me Lean USA. I've used the Focus ones. I've used Energize. I've used Lean and Fit. If you're trying to lose weight and actually gain muscle, then Lean and Fit is some of the best products in the groundbreaking industry. It is amazing what these products have done. I've been on it for 2 months now, and I've already been able to do not just one, but 40 push-ups. And if you guys know, I have a torn rotator cuff. So I'm able to rebuild my shoulder muscle pretty effectively. And there's science behind it that says that you can build your muscle 4 times faster than any creatine source, and actually 20 times faster than whey protein. So take your Fit and take your Lean plant-based peptides. All the proceeds actually help this podcast because it's very expensive to run these podcasts. But go to getmeleanusa.com. Don't forget to book your appointment with us at cortezwm.com. Let's get a second review. Let's just see what's going on. Let's have a conversation. and let's just make sure we're a right fit. We may not be a good fit, and that's okay. We don't work with Democrats, and we don't work with people that hate. So, all good. Well, with that being said, guys, I'm out of here. God bless you. Don't forget to book your appointment at CortezWM.com, and I'll send you a free book. God bless. Bye-bye. You probably clicked this link because you don't trust the stock market. You know that it's manipulated. You know it's rigged for the big banks. You know that you can be financially inoculated with everything that's going on. And the reason why you're here is because you might have some FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Fearful because you don't know what's going on. Uncertainty because there's no one to talk to. And doubtful because there's no plan on what is about to come. But one thing, when it comes to retirement planning, if you don't have a game plan for whatever is about to come, then you are not prepared. It's time for you to protect your money outside of buying gold and silver. This is going to be the best thing because you're protected by contract law. Completely different animal, guys. Again, Carlos Cortez here. Hope I can hear from you. And let's just have a conversation to see if this strategy works for you.